scores and possibly hundreds of civilians have been stabbed and hacked to death in the northern Ethiopian region of Tigray.
I have to finish the film.
Yeah.
To get the news right. So,
Yeah.
now, here we go. There are some idiots out there who think that this is all made up. It's not real. So while I was doing my search, I would like to share this with our audience. So this is a real satellite image. Okay, so if you look at the date change here, like what I was able to just see is how these buildings here are being destroyed.
Absolutely.
So like,
Absolutely.
this
Absolutely.
is the December,
Yeah.
and then January they're gone.
So this is powerful, Kamal, because it tells us indirectly also the things we cannot see through the satellite images, and that is the suffering of the people, real people who lived there, worked there, went to school there, went to get help in hospitals there. Those have been destroyed completely under the watch of their own government, right? No government should be going to war against its own people, allied to a foreign army with no accountability. This should never happen, Kamal. That's why the very first thing has to be exit of the Eritrean army from Tigray, right? They were denying it at the beginning. The Ethiopian government denied it. The Eritrean government denied it. But now we know, in fact, Ethiopian army officers have been openly saying not only that the Eritrean troops are in Tigray, but they don't know how to get them out from there, right? It is tragic how the Tigray people have been really given to the vultures at night, right? To the wolves at night, with no protection at all. The only government that they elected themselves, the Tigray regional government, has been pushed out, right? A government they elected, a government that was governing them by laws that they have enacted, right? Now there is lawlessness with an army with no accountability, looting, killing, and raping. Somebody from outside has to go in and do something about this, Kamal. It is a big tragedy.
If the United Nations doesn't do anything, okay, each country can put their reaction out there. So, well, because I'm from Turkey, and then because I know our president in Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, he's one of the people who challenges the United Nations. So if he's watching this at some point, I also want him to look into this, because Turkey is doing a lot of business in Africa. Well, it's a great way to build relationships, but so this actually is from Financial Times this morning. Just came out a couple of days ago, I think maybe about a week ago. Now, this is what I see here. Where was it? The amount of work that now, the business that we are doing, the Turkey and Ethiopia, is pretty big. So let's see here. Sometimes I have it on my iPad, and then okay. So here, Ethiopia being the second most populous country, and then all the Turkey now partnered with Ethiopia, the third biggest investor. So how do you know, Mr. Erdogan?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
just do something, because this is. I mean, I don't want to see my flag with the country that's killing its own people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Kamal, it's interesting to see that definitely Turkey was one of the important investment partners with Ethiopia now for some years, right? And we had, for the last, I would say 10, 15 years, there was growth of the economy in Ethiopia under a government that was committed to eradicating poverty as its first priority, right? And part of that government were actually the leaders that have been hunted in Tigray right now. They've achieved a lot, right? And many investors flocked into Ethiopia with great hopes, right? The growth of the economy was unparalleled in the world. Now it was growing with double digits for many years. Now, with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, his priority has become to assert his authority and to rule without consent, right? And then when there was rebellion, when there was really opposition to him, his answer was to create an alliance with dictatorial regimes in the surrounding countries and then go to war against these regions. When there is war, Kamal, when there is no peace, there is no growth. Investors are going to be running away from Ethiopia right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens even with Turkish companies. Why? Because of the destruction. I told you, until November 4th, the region of Tigray had the stability of a region that was able to conduct an election during the coronavirus with a participation of over 2 million people. That is stability. That is governance, right? Mr. Abiy Ahmed destroyed that. He invited a foreign army from Eritrea with no accountability, and we have now refugees. We have now people fleeing their homes. We have now internal displacements. And very, very shortly, I believe Ethiopia is going to be at the top of the countries that are actually having the greatest tragedies because of wars, right? It was not the case until Mr. Abiy came to power. So, you know, going back to our issue about what the world needs to do, Kamal, I think the very first important thing to do is to get the harmful army out of Tigray, get the Eritrean army to get out of Tigray, right? Because that lack of accountability from an army that has been brutalized for years, you know, in a dictatorial state like Eritrea, is the one that is causing the most harm right now. They have to leave, right? Access needs to be given to humanitarian organizations without any impediment so they can help the people in need. So we can prevent deaths. So we can prevent rapes, right? So that what happened in Rwanda, so that what happened in Bosnia is not repeated also in Tigray.
So it's going to be too late, what I'm seeing, because I was just, you know, preparing this it's one thing, but just putting them on top of each other: starvation, rape, child labor, being displaced from your home being destroyed. In this day and age, we shouldn't be talking about these.
Absolutely.
When, you know, the Greta Thunberg of the world is just worrying about the green or not having enough green, and then on the other side, my African family is dying and being raped, and that's the world that we don't want to live in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, you know, the sad part is to do stuff right now. I mean, honestly, as I'm actually talking about it, it's just making me a little bit more emotional. Like, I didn't realize it was, as you're just reading them back to back, it's just bad, right? So the part of the issue, like when you and I, we talked about after we took over our surgery center, one of the things that you and I, we discussed is charity in Ethiopia. And then I remember calling you one day and then saying, look, we have all these extra equipment and we have the, you know, the manpower with our surgeons, with our other physicians. We have 200 physicians just in Delaware. So can we actually, you know, do something in Ethiopia? And I haven't been there, you know, but we were planning. And we actually had, you know, these dreams. Now, yes, my dreams are stolen too.
Yeah.
So this is not the way that we want to actually build the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's sad.
It is sad. It is sad. But, you know, decent people like yourself, Kamal, you know, can make a change, right? By raising the issue, by bringing it up. I mean, yes, you and I talked about establishing a health center in Tigray, right? And my dream was to name it under my father who passed, through the violence in the past, right? We can do it again. Come on, we can do it. We just have to let the world know what is happening right now, and also let the people of Tigray know that they have support, that there is enough decency in the world, that there is enough indignation in the world for people to stand with them and support them in this very, very dark time. And they will come out of this as well. And people like me and yourself, Kamal, will go back into that region and help them rebuild it. That can happen. That has to drive us. We cannot lose hope, right? But we have to persist. We have to call the inhuman acts of those in power in Ethiopia and Eritrea out, expose them, and also demand that all people with decency everywhere, that they call this out as well, that silence is not acceptable.